Have you ever wondered how National Geographic makes their documentaries? Well, they spend months, and sometimes even years, taking thousands of shots out in real nature. However, you can get the exact same results without ever leaving home, in as little as 11 minutes using AI.
As the sun climbs over a summer pond, the water comes alive. And among the reeds waits one of the most lethal hunters this world has ever produced, the dragonfly.
That's why in this video, I'm going to show you the exact workflow I followed to create this short documentary. So by the end of this, you'll know how to make high-resolution close-up shots of animals, how to create realistic environments, and how to put it all together into one smooth video. But first, we need to know exactly what we're trying to create. It can be a documentary on how monkeys eat bananas, or how a rare species of snake is becoming extinct. If we don't know that from the beginning, it's going to be a complete nightmare to create the documentary. But if you're anything like me, and you're passionate about nature but don't know that much about it, you can simply use the new version of Claude called Fable 5 for this. So let's actually go do that. I'll open a new chat and ask it to give me some topic suggestions. Here's what I'll say. Now let's press send and wait for the response. As you can see, it gave me 3 options to choose from. And I think the first one with the dragonfly is really interesting. So I'll tell it to go with that one. And now let's see what it's gonna say. All right, so in the beginning, it explains a little bit about what this animal is, and then it gives me the first draft of the narration. This is the actual script we're going to be using as a voiceover on top of the video, which will explain how the animal lives and behaves in nature. So what I'll do now is simply read through the entire script a few times to make sure everything flows naturally. Once I'm happy with it, we can go ahead and generate the voiceover for the video, which is a key part of any nature documentary. And by the way, I know it's sometimes difficult to read all the prompts from the screen, so I actually put each one, plus all the settings from this tutorial, in a free kit, which you can find in the description below. But now, let's get back to our narrator voice, because here I can't simply use any random AI tool out there and get a narrator that sounds like a robot. I need something that sounds like a real human, natural, and masculine. But luckily for us, there's actually one professional software that lets you do that in just a couple of seconds. And I'm talking about ElevenLabs. They're one of the pioneers when it comes to natural AI voices. So the normal approach would be to go on ElevenLabs, create a new account, get a subscription, and try to navigate their platform. And that might be okay if this was the only tool we needed for the video. But in this tutorial, we're also going to use multiple image and video generators, and each one would need another subscription. And that means making a nature documentary gets extremely expensive. However, the platform I'm using to avoid all that and get every single AI tool I need is called Higgsfield. So I'll leave a link to it in the description down below if you want to use it. But now let me get into it. This is the homepage you'll see after you log in. And to access the ElevenLabs AI voices, I'll go to the audio section at the top and select voiceover. Here in the left corner, I can choose from multiple audio tools, but I'll keep it on 11v3. And on the right side, I can select the voice. There are a lot of presets, but you can also create your own custom voice if you want to. For my documentary, I like this voice, which is called Alistair. So let's press generate and listen to the result.
As the sun climbs over a summer pond, the water comes alive. And among the reeds waits one of the most lethal hunters this world has ever produced.
Actually, this is one of the most natural and perfect voices I've heard for a documentary narrator. So I'll simply download it and get back to my Claude chat. Because now, we actually move on to one of the most important steps of this entire workflow. And it's the step that decides how the final result turns out. And this step is all about creating the image references, which lock in the exact insect, the location, and the actions we want. So I'll just tell Claude that, and it tells me I first need to create the reference images, one with the pond and one with the dragonfly. And it also gives me the prompts for them. But Claude is just a chatbot. It can't generate these visuals for me. So I come back to Higgsfield, and in the image section, I'll go on Create Image. And in the left corner, you can see it says Nano Banana Pro. So I'll press on it. And for the model, I'm going with GPT Image 2, because this one is better when it comes to creating a lot of fine detail, like our insect. And to get the best quality, I'll set this setting to high. I'll go with 4K as the resolution. And for the aspect ratio, I'll stick with 16:9. Now for the prompt, I'll simply paste in what Claude gave us. And this is the dragonfly we're going to be using inside our documentary. GPT Image 2 is so good that if you zoom in on the insect, you can see every single detail, from the tiny hairs on the arms to the amazing colors and the little particles on the eyes. So I'll save it and do the same for the pond location. I'll change it to the pond and press generate. This is what we get back, and it honestly looks pretty real. And you can't even tell it was made with AI. We've got the reflection of the plants on the water, and the colors are on point. And if you remember, Claude told us to come back once we've generated these these two. So that's what I'll do, and it gives us the prompts for each of the video scenes. So let's actually do that and wait for it. All right, now we have 11 different prompts for our shots. So what we need to do now is take them one by one and use the same process as before to generate the images with GPT Image 2. And if you're wondering why we're making images instead of creating the videos right from the start, it's actually because we're going to use these images as the starting frame for each video. So instead of creating all the shots one by one with no starting point and possibly ending up with poor results we don't like, we make one starting frame for just a few credits and edit that until we're happy with it. So this not only saves you a lot of credits on regenerating, but it also keeps everything consistent and gives you a full overview of the entire documentary. For example, for the first scene, I'm going to copy and paste the prompt from Claude in, make sure GPT Image 2 is selected, and just press generate to get this type of shot, which is an overview of the location, and we need this one to get a nice smooth intro into the documentary. So let me do the same thing for all the other scenes. And here's what I've got in order. Honestly, my favorite one is the 10th, where you can see the dragonfly eating that worm, and the reason I like it is how high quality it is. You can literally see details that are almost impossible to see with the naked eye in nature. So this is going to make a really cool documentary, because showing things people would never normally get to see is exactly what gets millions of them interested. And just like that, all the image assets are done. Now we can finally move on to the most interesting part of this entire tutorial, but you have to be extremely careful here and link this step together with the previous one, or it won't even work. And I'm talking about creating the actual videos. But before we can do that, let's go back to Claude and ask it for the prompts, just by telling it this. And after just a minute, it gave us 11 different prompts, one for each scene. And for each one, it gave us the duration and the description, while also using the @ reference that points to our pond location. So inside Higgsfield, I'll go to the video section and press create video. And the first thing is to press this button that lets me choose the video generator I want to use. You can see there are a lot of them, like Kling 3 or Higgsfield DOP with a bunch of presets, but this time I'm going with Seedance 2 since it's currently the best model out there. And before doing anything else, I'll simply paste in the prompt we got from Claude. And here's the step that decides whether this comes out the way we want or not. We have this feature called Upload Media, and if you press on it, it opens up your files. For the first scene, I'm going to upload the first starting frame I created for it. And what this does is it takes the starting frame we just created for the scene, and it creates a video starting exactly from that point, keeping all the details the same across the entire video. And you'll see the output in a second, but for now, let's choose the duration, like our prompt says. For this one, it's going to be 6 seconds. For the aspect ratio, I leave it on 16:9 and the resolution on 1080p. You can push it up to 4K if you want the highest quality, just be careful not to burn through your credits. But let's press generate and look at the video it gives us. As you can see, there's not a lot of motion here. We just have a slight zoom on the starting frame we created. But that's actually what we want for our nature documentary, to make it look professional. You may notice there's also no background sound here, and that's because we don't really need it. This is the intro, so we'll get the background sounds on the next one. I'm going to remove the reference image that was for the first scene and upload the new one for the second scene. Then I'm going to paste in my new prompt, change the duration to 5 seconds, and generate. Again, we have a smooth push-in, this time inside the actual pond location, and you can even hear the birds singing in the background. Now let me do the same exact process for the third scene, because here, there's something different I want to show you. So I'll copy and paste the third prompt from Claude into the video section, and for the reference images, I'll replace the starting frame with the right one for the third video. And here's the difference from the previous step. We also need to add the reference image with the dragonfly, because it appears inside the video. I'll change the duration, and then press generate. And here's what Higgsfield makes for us. This time, we have a lot more motion than before because the insect is actually moving its wings. And there are two things that make this super realistic. First, the sound, which is timed perfectly with the wing beats. And second, the actual stick that slowly sways as the insect moves its wings. So now all I need to do is run the same exact process for the rest of the scenes. Take the prompt from Claude, use the location and the insect as the reference images, add the starting frame, and just like that, you'll have all your shots done with no problem. But what actually makes the difference between a good result and something that looks like a bunch of random videos stitched together is how you do the next step of the workflow. I see quite a lot of people messing this up. So let me show you how I assemble all 11 videos into one smooth scene. First of all, I open CapCut and drop all the videos onto the timeline. outline. Then I trim off anything I don't like. And then I simply take the audio narration we made earlier with ElevenLabs and place it underneath the videos and check that everything lines up with the visuals. Finally, I add a light nature documentary music track underneath to bring the whole thing together. Then I just press export and get a video like this.
As the sun climbs over a summer pond, the water comes alive. And among the reeds waits one of the most lethal hunters this world has ever produced, the dragonfly. An insect that has been perfecting the hunt for 300 million years, since long before the dinosaurs. Almost the whole of its head is eye, nearly 30,000 lenses drinking in the light. It sees in every direction at once. It does not simply give chase, it predicts, plotting an intercept its prey will never see coming. The strike is over almost before it begins. With its catch held fast, it returns to the reeds to feed, working through its meal with quiet, mechanical efficiency. But it will not wait long for the next. Spotting a soft larva stranded on the mud, it sweeps down and snatches it from the ground without ever coming to rest. And here, in close, we see the truth of it. No ceremony, no hesitation. On the pond, to hunt is simply to live.
And honestly, there's no difference between this short documentary we made today and something you'd normally see on National Geographic. The visuals are on point, and the audio is exactly how it should be. So if you want to create one just like this, go sign up to Higgsfield using the link in the description down below to get access to ElevenLabs and all the image and video generators. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.